What's the deal, my people? Teflon in the building with another Game of Thrones Season 8 video. And we have made it to the Battle of Winterfell, the battle for the long night. And in this video, I will tell you exactly how the Night's King will defeat Jon Snow and all of his friends. The battle for the dawn is upon us, people, and say goodbye to a lot of these characters that we see in this trailer right now, because I'm going to tell you at least 75% of these people will get wiped out in this army. And when we look at this battle, I think this has a chance to be the most epic battle ever put on screen. And that's talking movies and TV. Because when I think about battles on screen, especially movies, the first battle that always comes to mind to me is the opening scene in Saving Private Ryan. I think that is one of the greatest opening scene battles that has ever been put on screen. And then when I also start thinking of the Battle of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. So when I look at those battles, I think that this has the chance to outdo both of them. Number one, I think it's going to be significantly longer than both of those scenes, and I think that they have just put in the work. And I will explain that to you in a second. But before I do, if you can, please hit that thumbs up button. We're trying to get to 500 likes in less than 24 hours to trigger the YouTube algorithm, and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified every time I drop a Game of Thrones video, because we're going for it all, people. That big silver button in the sky. Help a brother out. Now, in order to understand the epicness that we are about to witness, all we have to do is read this article from Entertainment Weekly that Miguel Sapochnik, the person who directed this episode and also did the Battle of Bastards, talked about what it took for him to shoot the Battle of Bastards. After I read the first outline and we went to take a look at the location, a privately owned piece of land called Saintfield in Northern Ireland, the producers asked me to ballpark the number of days I thought it was going to take to shoot it. After a few hours and a fair bit of guesswork, we said 28. They said 12. Eventually, probably a few months later, we ended up with 25 days, including the parlay on the battlefield prior to the actual battle and all the scenes in Winterfell in the aftermath of Battle of the Bastards. Reaching this number was the biggest challenge. So we see here that shooting the Battle of Bastards, it took him 25 days, and that's including the parlay and the other scenes in Winterfell. Now, when dealing with this battle, the producers sent out a letter after they were done shooting it. This is for the Night Dragons, for enduring 55 straight nights, for enduring the cold, the snow, the rain, the mud, the sheep shitter Tahum, and the winds of Mataroom. When tens of millions of people around the world watch this episode a year from now, they won't know how hard you work. They won't care how tired you were and how tough it was for you to do your job in sub-freezing temperatures. They'll just understand that they're watching something that's never been done before. And that's because of you. Thank you, the producer types. So we're talking basically double the time to shoot this one episode as it took for the Battle of Bastards. And we've seen what we got during the Battle of Bastards. That was just tremendous. So I am just so excited about what we are about to see. I love Game of Thrones, and this is the reason why I love Game of Thrones. These battles, and now that they finally have the budget to do it exactly the way they always wanted to do it, I cannot wait to see it. And we can also take a couple of things that he said in that letter, and that was the freezing cold temperatures. We are going to see the winds of winter the way it was supposed to see. Night's King brings the cold with him, and that's exactly how this battle is going to go down. And I think that's going to be a huge factor when dealing with why the Night's King will win and how the Night's King is going to win this Battle of Winterfell. Now, when I look at this Battle of Winterfell, to me, there is no reason that the heroes, our people that we want to win, should lose this battle. To me, they have every advantage going for them. The Night's King only has one thing in his favor, and that is sheer numbers. But his numbers are of zombies, mindless creatures, right? So when we look at what the heroes have, they have so much of an advantage. Now, number one, the Night's King has an undead dragon, right? An ice dragon. But he can't use that dragon against the heroes because if he burns them, then he loses his army. So he's not going to be able to use them directly on the main people in the show, because if he does that, they're going to die, and then he's not going to be able to use them for a future fight, right? So he's not going to do that. So that takes one thing away from the Night's King. Now, when we look at everything that Jon Snow and them have, they have catapults, they have ballistas, they have arrows. And when you have arrows and you have projectile weapons versus people who don't have any projectile weapons, usually you win just like that. You know, when you have a gun and people have swords, you win. And that's basically the way it's going down here for Jon Snow versus the army of the undead. There is no reason for him to lose this battle. They know the lay of the land, they have the walls for defense, and they have the high ground. They really should beat the Night's King back fairly easily. And I'm not even talking about the fire that they have and all the dragon glass they have. They have all the weapons they need to defeat the Night's King, and they will not defeat the Night's King. And the reason why I think this is because of Bran Stark. I think Bran Stark's plan, and it was his plan, to go by that weirwood tree and wait for the Night's King, will be their downfall. They should have never listened to this plan from Bran right off the bat, because Bran is too cocky, and when you get cocky, you get stupid. And that's what's going to happen here. Bran is not a military commander. He's never been in any type of battles, but yet they want to listen to him. Bran has got no foresight that we've seen that makes him think that this plan of his is going to work for him to be hanging out by the weirwood tree, but it's not going to work for him, not whatsoever. And when we look at their formation that they have planned to defend against the Night's King army, they have the Dothraki up front, which is a bad move. Why they would do that, I have no idea. We have seen the Dothraki fight in the loot train battle, and they like to charge straight on, and that is their technique. This technique has no chance of working. Number one, we just seen in the producer's letter them say how cold it was when they were shooting it. Therefore, there's going to be a lot of snow in this battle. These horses are not going to be effective in the snow whatsoever. They should have them on the flanks, maybe to have the Night's King army chase them away and try to divide the army up a little bit, but having them do the straight Dothraki charge, all that's going to do is get them killed and get them turned right around back at the heroes. And we will see a repeat of history when the Dothraki attacked the Unsullied back in the day, and that's how the Unsullied got their name. But the Unsullied will not be able to withstand their charge, plus the army of the undead charge, and that's going to bust a hole right up in the middle and force everybody to retreat back to the castle of Winterfell. That's going to be their first mistake. That will then force all the archers off of the battlements and force them to pull back, because the soldiers that do survive will have to take their place on the battlements to try to beat the undead back, and then that's just about a wrap for them when that happens. Next, when they hide people in the crypts of Winterfell, where there's all dead people down there, I don't think it's very smart to do that when you have a guy who can raise the dead. So I think when they try to retreat into the crypts of Winterfell, they're going to be attacked by the skeletons and all the dead people that are down inside the crypts. And we're talking thousands of years of dead people down there. Hopefully most of them are just bones and dust, but the ones that do survive, they're going to be resurrected, and then they're going to come from the inside. And that's it. When you get caught from the inside and the out, it's all over for you. That's going to be the fall of Jon Snow's army. When you see that picture of Jon Snow standing there looking like he's shocked, we can go to the person who plays the Night's King and what he said in the article to understand exactly what Jon Snow was looking at this particular time. When asked this question, what can we expect from him in the final season, this is what he said. People will see he has a target he wants to kill, and you will find out who that is. There's also that moment when Jon Snow was on the boat and the Night's King looked at him and raised his arm. There's a similar and even stronger moment between Jon and the Night King this time. And I believe this is that magic moment he is speaking about in this article. I think Jon Snow was looking at his friends, the people that he was just fighting with, being resurrected right in his face, and they're going to come and get him. And that's how he's going to retreat, because I think the number one thing that the Night's King has on his side, besides the cold, besides the army of the undead, is fear. I think the fear factor will get the best of a lot of these people. People have never seen undead people fight like this. They have never seen zombies like this. And I think that they're going to fold under the pressure and start to retreat. I do not believe that everyone's going to be all ballsy. I think that's why Brienne is screaming, hold your ground. I think this is what it is, that people are scared to death of what they're witnessing. And when the Night's King makes this resurrection, this is not going to be Grey Worm. This is not going to be the Dothraki. Of course, they're going to die, and those people are going to get resurrected. But when it's coming down to Jon Snow and this resurrected, it's going to be somebody really personal to him. It's going to be someone that's going to hurt when he looks at this person and sees him as the undead person. Will it be Theon because he's out there trying to protect Bran? Will it be Bran himself? It could be. Don't sleep and think that it won't be. Will it be Arya? Will it be Sansa? Or will it be Daenerys? These are the people that I think that Jon Snow cares the most about and would affect him the most if they got resurrected by the Night's King. So you tell me in the comment section who you think it's going to be. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.